Part 1. Intro. How it all started. Hey Reddit, I never thought I'd be the guy writing one of these, but here I am. Buckle up, because this is going to be a long one, and honestly, I just need to get this off my chest. I met my now ex-wife, Lena, 8 years ago. We met at a friend's barbecue. She was charming, funny, effortlessly confident. I was in a weird place back then, just out of a breakup and not looking for anything serious. But Lena had this magnetic pull. Everyone loved her, and she made you feel like the most interesting person in the room. We started dating quickly. Within 6 months, we moved in together. By the end of the second year, we were married. I won't lie, things moved fast, but when you're in it, when you think you found your person, you don't question the pace. But now, looking back, there were red flags. Small ones, easily brushed off at the time. Like how she never really had long-term friends. Or how she'd go silent or defensive if I asked simple questions about her day. There was always some tension when it came to finances. She wanted control over all the accounts, even though I was the one working more hours. She said it was just easier if she handled the bills. I chalked it up to personality quirks. We all have baggage, right? She'd tell me her exes were crazy, that they were controlling and jealous. I promised myself I'd never be that guy. I'd be the good husband. If only I knew then what I know now. Part 2 coming next. Part 2, Suspicion. When things started to feel off at first, the signs were so small I almost gaslit myself into ignoring them. Lena started going out more. Girls' nights, work dinners, yoga retreats. I wanted to be supportive. She said she needed space, and I believed her. I mean, I work long hours, and I figured maybe she just needed to recharge with her own life outside of us. But then the patterns started. Her phone never left her side. Like never. She'd even take it into the bathroom while showering. And not just for music. She was actively texting in there. I noticed how she started keeping it face down at all times, and the password changed every couple of weeks. I joked about it once, and she snapped at me. Do you not trust me? It was a gut punch, because honestly, I didn't know. I wanted to, but things weren't adding up. Then there was the time she came home from one of those retreats with a very faint hickey on her neck. She swore it was from cupping therapy. I googled the marks from cupping therapy. They're round. This was not round. But again, I let it go. I didn't want to be the jealous husband she always warned me not to become. The intimacy between us changed too. She got colder, less affectionate. If I tried to initiate, she'd pull away and say she was tired or overwhelmed. But I started noticing she had new lingerie, stuff I hadn't seen before. And it definitely wasn't for me. I felt like a roommate. A ghost even. And still, I told myself I was being paranoid. Spoiler alert, I wasn't. Part 3 coming next. Part 3, Discovery. The moment. Everything cracked. The moment it all unraveled started with pure dumb luck. She left her iPad at home. Normally it was always with her, but that day she rushed out late for a meeting with her boss and forgot it charging on the kitchen counter. I wasn't even looking for anything. I was honestly about to use it to check the weather. But it buzzed. A text popped up. I didn't even need to unlock it. Last night was amazing. Can't stop thinking about you. My stomach dropped. It was from a contact saved as M. No heart emojis or anything, but come on. I opened the thread. What I saw made my hands shake. Hundreds of messages. Sexting, plans, references to nights when she told me she was at book club or seeing her sister. There were even pictures. You can guess the kind. It wasn't just sex either. They talked about me, mocked me, called me a clueless husband, talked about how easy it was to get away with it. At one point, she even joked, "He's so desperate to believe I love him. I could tell him I was abducted by aliens and he'd say, 'Okay, babe, hope they bring you back soon.'" I sat there frozen for a long time. The text thread went back over a year. I didn't even know how to react. I wanted to scream, break something, vomit. Instead, I just sat on the kitchen floor for over an hour, iPad in my lap, feeling like I had just woken up in someone else's life. I took photos of everything, sent it all to my own email. That night, I pretended like nothing was wrong. I kissed her goodnight. I was already planning the confrontation. Part 4 coming next. Part 4. Confrontation. The Gaslight Olympics begin. The next evening, I told her we needed to talk. She walked into the living room all casual, glass of wine in hand, like we were about to watch Netflix. I said, "I saw the messages, Lena." "On your iPad." Her face froze, like full-on deer in headlights, but only for a split second. Then the lies started. "That's not what you think. You're overreacting. It was just flirting. It didn't mean anything." I told her I saw the photos, the hotel confirmations, the disgusting things they said about me. She turned it around so fast I almost got whiplash. "Why were you snooping through my stuff? This is about you not trusting me. You're controlling, you always have been. This is why I needed someone to talk to." I couldn't believe it. She cheated for over a year, and somehow I was the villain now? Then came the tears. The fake crying. The hands shaking like she was the victim in all this. She actually said, "You don't know how lonely I've been. You work so much. You stopped paying attention to me." I asked her straight up if she was going to leave me for him. Her answer? "I don't know. I'm confused. I didn't plan for any of this." Not once did she say she was sorry. Not once did she take real responsibility. It was all guilt-tripping, emotional spin, and classic deflection. By the end of the conversation, I felt like I was the crazy one, like I had just imagined all of it. That's how good she was at twisting reality. But deep down, I knew. This wasn't just a mistake. This was a pattern, and I had a feeling it wasn't the first time. Part 5 coming next. Part 5. Emotional fallout. My world collapsed. After that conversation, I didn't sleep for days. I couldn't eat. I couldn't think straight. I'd drive to work and just sit in the parking lot, staring at the dashboard, feeling like the air had been sucked out of my lungs. I kept replaying everything in my head. Our wedding day, the vacations, the way she used to look at me. Was any of it real? I started doubting myself. Was I really this blind? Was I a bad husband? Did I push her into this somehow? But then I'd remember the texts, the mocking, the way she laughed about how gullible I was, and that confusion would turn into rage. I cried more in those 2 weeks than I had in my entire adult life. I'm not even embarrassed to admit that. Mark, 20th July, 2025, 21:13. This wasn't just betrayal, it was the death of the life I thought I had, of the future I thought we were building. She acted like nothing had happened, kept doing her makeup in the mirror like she hadn't just detonated our marriage. She'd text on the couch, smile at her phone. No shame, no guilt, like I was just in the way. One night, I broke down in the shower, fully clothed, just sat there with the water running, shaking and crying like some pathetic movie cliche. I was angry at her, but I was so much angrier at myself for not seeing it, for loving someone who clearly didn't love me back. And deep down, I knew something worse was coming. I just didn't know what yet. Part 6 coming next. Part 6. More revelations. The truth keeps getting worse. About a week after the confrontation, I got a message on Instagram from someone I didn't recognize. It was a woman named Claire. Her profile was private, but her message hit like a truck. "Hey, I think your wife's been seeing my fiancé." I swear, I stared at that message for a full minute before I could even process it. Turns out M, the guy from the text, was engaged. Claire had found my info after snooping through his phone while he was asleep. She saw my wife's messages and wanted answers. We talked on the phone for hours that night. Compared dates, messages, screenshots. They'd been seeing each other for 2 years, not one. Lena had met up with him while we were on vacation. Said she needed to step out and take a walk. They'd met in bars, hotels, even in his car in a parking garage once. Claire said they met through a mutual friend at some corporate event, and it escalated fast. But here's the kicker. Claire also told me Lena had another affair a few years ago with someone from her old job, a guy named Jason. That one ended when Jason's wife found out and threatened to expose them at work. Lena swore it was just emotional and convinced her boss to transfer her to another department. Never told me any of it. I felt sick. Physically sick. Everything she ever told me about her crazy exes, her toxic work environments, the girl trips, it all started to unravel. Her whole persona was a carefully curated lie. I had been living with a stranger, sleeping next to someone who had mastered the art of deceit. And I knew now, I was done lying to myself too. Part 7 coming next. Thank you all for watching. Continued in the next video.